Okay, you have your topic. You're pretty pumped. Now it's time to do the library activity sheet. So, the library activity sheet is teaching you two things. It's first teaching you, in general, how to research. If some of you are going, Mezzo, I already know how to research. Good for you! Rock on! This is going to be easy for you. I needed to learn how to research 700 times before I really understood how to research. And there's all these tips and tricks. And if we need more tips and tricks as we go, I can make a video like I would usually show you in class. I have my own sort of Mizzo tips and tricks. But the library has made videos. They're really good. Um, they help you think about search terms. They help you think about what types of sources you would want. They walk you through different types of databases we have. Y'all, I cannot go on enough about how great the library is. Y'all, it is so great. It is so great. It is so great. I cannot even tell you. Um, and I love it. If the library had a fan club, I would be the biggest fan. I'm always saying that I'm going to have some kind of faculty job for the rest of my life just so I can have access to the library because I love it so much. Um, so, how many of you like to research? Crickets, chirp, chirp. Now, maybe a couple of you are like, me, I'm a nerd, or you're like, kind of. Most of you are going, no, I don't like sources. I don't like researching. I don't like it. And that's fine. Get a soda, get a candy bar, get something you like, um, and dig in. Research is difficult. If you're going, this is frustrating, and I'm not finding everything I need in the first 3 seconds, you're probably doing it right. Now you might not be, so here's some tips in case, right? Like you're not. But I love when students will sit down and they'll sit down at Google for 5 minutes and they'll be like, I can't find anything on, and then they'll say something like gun violence, and I'll be like, what? There's so much on gun violence, right? So here's how I like to reframe this. The library worksheet is going to teach you how to use individual tools on the library database. But I want you to rethink what research is. Research is not a big, daunting, scary thing. Sources are not an overwhelming, scary thing that you have to find so many of. What you're doing is you're going out and gathering information on your topic. When I'm in class, I usually walk around the room excitedly looking at people's things and then gather it. So I'll like go to someone's water bottle and I'll say, "Oh, can I have this piece of information?" They say yes or no. Consent is very important. And if they say yes, I take it with me. And I have collected book bags and pencils and hats and scarves and like look at this cool piece of information, right? If you think of information less as like, oh, I have to research this, and more of like, ooh, what can I find? Then it gets more interesting. Now, also, in the same way that I'm gathering water bottles and hats and scarves, and I usually pull a chair over and a textbook, those are all different pieces of information. So, a statistic or a fact is going to be used differently than a personal testimony. An event or a happening, like something that happened, is going to be used differently than um, measurements, right? Than something more logistical. So there's different types of support, different types of information, and you want to gather a bunch of different types to help inform us. Remember the gift I was talking about? You want lots of different types of information to give a good gift about your topic when you give us information about your topic. Here, look, I found this for you. Thank you. I've always wanted to know more about segregation in Milwaukee. How nice. Um, so as you're thinking about, oh, I'm going to go gather information, that's how you really should reframe this library worksheet, right? Instead of, oh, I can't find anything, or, oh, it's like, oh, this database isn't set for my topic. There isn't a lot of information on my topic. I'm going to have to go gather somewhere else, right? Now, if you get stuck, just come talk to me. Send me an email. We'll figure it out, right? But some places are going to have better gathering sites, right? Some databases are better for gathering certain topics than others. I love communication mass media because that's the best place to gather for my communication, rhetoric, women's studies types of topics I'm interested in. That's the first place I go to gather. But I also use JSTOR. I also use ProQuest. I also use Sage. I use tons of different databases. I just happen to have a favorite because it's good for my specific type of gathering. I have friends in other departments who never use Communication Mass Media Complete because it's not good for what they're gathering. You see what I'm saying? So the other thing is when you're gathering, um, oh, I just lost my train of thought. Be brave. Hold on. Um, when you're gathering and you're thinking about these pieces of info, here we go. You're also thinking about how you can then insert these pieces of info into your speech to help support. Now, you call these sources, and usually people are like, ugh, sources. How many do I have to have? How many sources do I have to have? How many of you, usually when you write a speech or a paper, you just write it and then you try to plug in sources? How many of you do that? We're going to reframe that. We're not going to do that because that sucks. That's like you saying, I know everything I need to know about this topic and I guess I'll cite these people. No, no, no. We're going to flip it around. You want to gather information from smart people. Sources are just smart people. Now, you would say squad, I would say posse. But basically, doing research is like building a squad, right? So that like when you roll up to talk about something, you like roll up and you're like, I'm going to talk about this. And you're like, I happen to know, what am I talking about? See, usually I ask the class for a topic and you can't give me one. So let's say I'm talking about, transgender rights. And I say, do you know that this many transgender individuals have been killed since the beginning of the year? And people are like, how do you know that? And I'm like, oh, because I have this researcher in my squad who did this research, right? Or like, did you know that transgender individuals are more likely to have not be able to get health care or get really crappy health care? How do you know that? Oh, because I have this doctor in my squad. Check out my doctor. Citation. Citations are just smart people who agree with you. That's all they are. So you want to load up as you're looking for information, looking for stuff. And remember, because your topics for these main speeches are connected, you're not just searching for this first speech. Oh my gosh, you're doing work for speeches 2 and 3 too. What? How cool is that? So you're going and gathering and you're like, oh, you read this amazing article about your topic. You're like, oh, get in my squad. You read this amazing research study that was done that has all these great statistics, get in my squad, right? So that when you roll up to your first speech, it's not just you up there blathering, right? You got all these people in your squad to support you that when someone goes, how do you know that? You go, actually, let me cite my article. Let me cite my statistics. Let me cite my doctor friend, right? You want cool people in your squad. So as you're gathering information, be thinking about, instead of like, oh, this sucks, I can't find anything, whatever. Think of yourself as like a gatherer who's like looking into your topic and excitedly reading stuff and then gathering in a certain way. And once you have that information, you'll be able to start structuring it into a speech, which is another video.